G'day everyone, Comics here with another Marvel Snap video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest Datamine information, thanks to the fine folks over at snap.fan. I will have a link in the video description below. This is for the July season for Marvel Snap, and as we all suspected from the most recent Datamine info, it's a Deadpool and Wolverine season. Which is no great surprise given the movie coming up. What is a surprise, though, is the fact that they're having Gwenpool as the season pass card by the looks of. The reason that's interesting is because Gwenpool actually doesn't have anything to do with Deadpool at all. The original version of the character does, but the original version of the character was created as a one-off for a variant cover that was part of a series of variant covers that envisaged Gwen Stacy as various other Marvel characters. That was due to the popularity of Spider-Gwen. One variant cover was Gwenpool or Gwen Stacy as a Deadpool version. That variant cover blew up in popularity to the point where Marvel decided to actually create some backstories for the character, but they had a stipulation that the character should not be associated with Deadpool or Gwen Stacy because Fox had the rights to the Deadpool universe of characters, and Sony had the rights to Gwen Stacy as part of the Spider-Man universe of characters. Marvel didn't want Fox or Sony getting their hands on Gwenpool. So the actual fully fleshed out version of the character doesn't have anything to do with Gwenpool. The reason behind the name is they decided that her real name was going to be Gwendolyn Poole, and that's Poole with an E. And she's actually a character from our universe who had read so many comic books that she was able to insert herself into the Marvel universe. She decided to become a mercenary, went to get a costume made. And when she told the costume maker her real name, Gwenpool, the costume maker was like, oh, like Deadpool. And so made her a pink and white version of Deadpool's red and black costume. But the character actually has nothing to do with Deadpool. So the fact that she's the season pass card in a Deadpool and Wolverine season is very bizarre. Especially when we see some of the further future data mines that have been uncovered for what's likely to be August season. It makes it even more interesting. But yeah, so we've got Deadpool and Wolverine cardbacks, variants, and Gwenpool as the season pass. These are all the new orders that are in. All right. So the new cards. So Gwenpool. There are 4/4 with on reveal. Pick a random card in your hand 4 times. Give +2 power each time. Now, this seems kind of insane to me. Obvious inclusions for cards in your hand that you want to get buffed are like Brood, Sebastian Shaw. My mind goes straight to Galactus. Yeah, there's this. I would be very surprised if this is how it releases at launch, because remember, this is Datamine info. It's not final. It's all subject to change. So especially in terms of like the card costs and power and abilities. But yeah, on the surface, this seems really strong. And as a season pass card too, that seems kind of crazy to have. Yeah, I will be very surprised if it stays this strong. Like it might be like pick a random card in your hand 3 times, give it +1 or something. There's a lot of knobs that can turn on this one to adjust the strength of it. We've also got Copycat. Copycat, for those that don't know, is a mutant shapeshifter whose real name is Vanessa Carlyle. And it's, yes, that Vanessa from the Deadpool movies is Copycat. she's a 3/5 with an ability. When you draw this, steal the text from the bottom card of your opponent's deck. So not when you play it, we draw this, and it takes the text from the bottom card of your opponent's deck, making that card a no ability card. Will completely remove the ability. This seems really, really strong. Yeah, I mean, normally you don't draw through your entire deck, but there are, like, you know, cards that can cause you to shuffle your deck and things like that. And she's a 3 cost, so there's plenty of opportunity to force your opponent to shuffle their deck afterwards, so they end up drawing the card that now has no abilities. That could be very, very strong. Ajax is another new card. Ajax, those that might remember, is Francis. He was the enforcer at the facility where Wade Wilson was experimented on to become Deadpool. Ajax has superhuman strength, durability, and speed, and he also doesn't have the ability to feel pain. In Snap, he's a 4/4 with ongoing ability, +1 power for each card in play afflicted with negative power. So obvious inclusion in toxic decks. And it's an ongoing ability as well, so he can just get stronger the more, like a Evo decks as well. He could be a good fit in an Evo deck. And he's a 4/4, so he gives you the chance to actually play something on turn 4 in an Evo deck, because normally you've only got high Evo as a 4/4, and no one really actually plays high Evo. So this could actually give you something to play on 4/4, and yeah, like the more cards you zap with Cyclops and Wasp and Ding and all that, he gets stronger. So it could be really good. We've also got Cassandra Nova, and if you've seen the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, you know that she's the big bad. Cassandra Nova is actually an evil spirit, who becomes the complete opposite of another being. And in Cassandra Nova's case, she chose an in utero Charles Xavier, who detected her presence and tried to kill her, caused her to be miscarried, but it like the being survived, and because they'd copied Professor X, they became an extremely powerful, like, telepath. They took control of an abandoned master mold and created the giant sentinel that decimated Genosha in the comics. So yeah, so she's basically evil Professor X's fake twin. She's a 3/1 with an on reveal, drain 1 power from each card in your opponent's deck. Now that can also be potentially very strong, especially if you remember the Eternal season has a card called Arishem, which adds 12 random cards to a player's deck. So that could cause Cassandra to become, like, if you play this against an Arishem player, potentially very, very strong. And it's on reveal, so you can Odin it, you can Grandmaster it, you can Wong it. This could end up being a really, really, really beefy card. Should be a lot of fun trying this one out and working out ways that you can get that power to be really, really strong. And last, but of course, by no means least, we have Hydra Bob. Bob being a Hydra agent that befriended Deadpool, and he became like kind of like Deadpool's inside guy in Hydra. He's got no special abilities, no superpowers. He's just a Hydra goon. And in Snap, he's a 2/5. After each turn, move to another location if you're losing here. So, typical Bob. Things get too hairy, run away. I love it. It's thematically very much on point for Bob. And yeah, I'm glad we kind of get one of Deadpool's sidekick friends in game as well. Should be fun. Should also be very interesting in your standard move shells, Raven and stuff like that. But it could also potentially, you could intentionally lose a location to have him moved to somewhere inaccessible, like Sanctum Sanctorum. So yeah, could be fun. We get a location token. Now this, we'll see the location later, but this is the Chimichanga. It's a 0/2. On reveal, merge this with one of your cards here. So you're basically feeding a Chimichanga to someone else and giving them +2 power. There's also some newly referenced cards. We've got Agent Venom, Anti-Venom, Aranya, Toxic, it says here, but I believe that's meant to be Toxin, because if you see, we've also got Misery, Scorn, Scream, so other symbiotes. So I believe that should be Toxin. Madam Web as well, Scarlet Spider, maybe getting his own card, finally, instead of just being a Spider-Man variant. And Symbiote Spider-Man as well, maybe another card. So yeah, so it's either a Venom season or maybe a potentially like Madam Web themed season. Hopefully it's like a Venom 3 season, because at least Venom 3 has a chance of being better than Madam Web was. So yeah, be interesting to see what they are. We also, some changes. Sage goes from a 4/1 to a 3/0. And this is what I was talking about earlier. They've also datamined some Young Avengers cards. We've got Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, Marvel Boy, Wiccan, Hulkling, and Speed. Now, with Gwenpool, what they could have done is they could have done a West Coast Avengers season with Kate Bishop, with Gwenpool, with Quentin Quire, Kid Omega as well. And Fuse, I believe, was the other new addition to the most recent incarnation of the West Coast Avengers, Kate Bishop put together. And you could have variants for MODOK. You could have a Brodok variant for MODOK. And you could also have Jeff, because Jeff debuted in that first West Coast Avengers, Kate Bishop West Coast Avengers story arc. So you could feature Jeff as well. But they opted to go with Young Avengers, which makes more sense. That's where Kate Bishop debuted. So that's who we're getting. So this is likely the August season will be a Young Avengers season. We've got the new locations for the Deadpool Wolverine season. We've got the Weapon X facility, which makes sense because both Deadpool are products of Weapon X. And this is discard a card to draw a card. And then we've got a taco truck, because Deadpool is often associated with Mexican fried foods. And in the comics and in the Midnight Suns game, Deadpool has his own taco truck. So that's where that chimichanga comes from. When the location's revealed, add a chimichanga to your hand. You could also snow guard bear this location to get a second one, if you really wanted. And Fogwell's Gym is back in rotation, apparently. Both players get double boosters this game. And apparently that's live now, although I've yet to see this. Apparently that's live now. The Conquest variant will be Colossus, which is fair enough because he's Deadpool movies. So that we finally get a decent fit for a Conquest variant in a season. Because yeah, like the current Thunderbolt season, the Conquest card is Bast 3099. Has absolutely nothing to do with the Thunder. So I'm glad to see some actual like connection, like between the Conquest variant and the season thing. Spotlights were the ones we've already been over before. Here we go. So Gwenpool's the season pass card. Looks like Hydra Bob will be the first card that we get alongside Gwenpool in a spotlight with Nebula and Galactus, and that is an absolutely Galactus variant. Get that. Week 2 we get Ajax along with Darkhawk and Beta Ray Bill. Week 3 we get Copycat, Hull Obsidian, and Thanos. That's hopefully we get some Thanos changes before So this is actually like last week of July. Hopefully Thanos gets some tweaks to make him playable again. That time stone change, absolutely horrible. Especially when you get it from the Sanctuary location and you're not playing Thanos. You like gave me a card. And then the last week of the season, we get Cassandra Nova, along with Proxima Midnight and Hope. That's potentially like Spotlight as well. New bundles. I'm really going to go over a lot. Shame that we get a Gambit variant and a Shadow King variant in a whale bundle. I just wish these would go away. Let's see. Yep, season pass. Gwenpool. New Ultimate variant is the cartoon style Deadpool. And then we get some new variants. Now these arrows were believed to be some relation to Kate Bishop, the card, in that Kate Bishop might function something like Nico, where each turn while she's in your hand, she could potentially like generate a different arrow, or when you play her, she might generate a random one. They don't have any like ability text yet. It's just the base cards that have been data mined. There's a few others down below as well. So yeah, so that'll be interesting if Kate Bishop functions something like Nico, where it's a random arrow. Got some more variants. We've got some X-Men 97 variants. Now these have been revealed to be upcoming Twitch drops. There's this one and a Mr. Sinister one, which is really, really cool, actually. It's meant to coincide with the season finale of X-Men 97. So that's really cool. Like, props to Second Dinner for this one. This will be a definite big win. There'll be a lot of people that are quite enthusiastic to get these variants, I think. Yeah, we going. We've got like a Dogpool variant and an unscarred Deadpool variant. Yeah, there's another arrow. That's actually a really cool Gwenpool variant. Really, really like that one. There's another arrow, Pym arrow, and there's the Mr. Sinister. So yeah, so that'll be the one of the Twitch drops along with the Bishop one. There's also a series of variants of Jeff invading other people's cards, like Wave with Storm, and then here we've got Ironlad with Jeff in Ironlad armor. That's super cool. I really hope they do a whole lot of these. They will end up proving to be really, really popular because it's Jeff. Who doesn't love Jeff? Yeah, one thing I did notice also with all of these new variants, there's no new Dan Hips that have been data mined. Now, he did reveal on Twitter that he's done a Professor X, which looks amazing, but it's not data mined yet. So, yeah, not sure what's up with that. I'll be very, 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 very keen to get that one. But yeah, no other Dan Hips data mined for July. Doesn't mean there won't be any Dan Hips released in July, because there's still a bunch that they haven't released. But just that there's no new ones like for August by the looks of it. We get variants with release dates. Again, I'll have a link to this in the description below for go check this out. So you can see like what dates these are coming out and how much they'll be. It looks like all of these comic book ones are 1,200 gold, which that much. Because you know I've got to get all this as a comic book fan as I am. So yeah, these get some release dates like Dan Hip, Hulkbusters, 23rd of May. So yeah, so again, I'll link that below. The card backs we get this season, we're getting a Second Dinner 5-year card back. Deadpool, Infinite Deadpool, and Wolverine. I'm a little disappointed that they went the Infinite card being Deadpool, because like red and gold really nothing to do with Deadpool. I mean, yeah, he briefly had a costume that X-Men, that was kind of red, black, and gold. But the logo, I don't know. I think they could have gone. What would have been really cool is if they did Wolverine's brown and tan costume and had the X belt buckle here be gold for Infinite, like Infinite Wolverine instead of Deadpool. But I guess Deadpool is the focus more so of the season. So I guess it makes sense to have the Infinite variant be a Deadpool one. We get some more albums. We get a steampunk album and another Pandora album. And then we get some more titles, and all of these are just awful. The thing that made me laugh when I first saw this was this one. Who writes this garbage? So they're aware that their titles are garbage, and they're putting that as a title. Who writes this garbage? But why is it that there's not a single... Like, there's so many actual Marvel titles they could use that would go over well with the community, like Sorcerer Supreme, Spirit of Vengeance, you know, The Best There Is. Yeah, there's just... And we don't have any of them. Like, okay, we have a couple of them. One was Herald of Galactus, which was an infinite reward, so people can't even get that anymore. And then there's also Lethal Protector was another one. There's very few like actually good titles in this game, and we're just getting more bad ones. Like, it's just really, really disappointing. But overall, the season does look cool. All the new cards look really, really cool. They're definitely going to be a lot of fun to mess around with. I'm especially looking forward to Gwenpool, and Cassandra Nova is going to be really interesting too. Ajax might see me playing some more Evo again. I might even try and revive my Galactus Evolve deck and chuck Ajax in there. Copycat could be fun. Bob could be interesting. So yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a fun month. Characters there. And just, I guess, the fact that we're finally getting Gwenpool, because she's actually been data mined for a long time now. So yeah, so that's a wrap up of what looks to be the July season for Marvel Snap. Thanks for tuning in. If you can, give this video a like, give the channel a sub, and drop a comment below on what you're looking forward to most. That will really, really help. I would appreciate that a great deal. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks all.